Have you ever wondered about the depth and breadth of U.S. involvement in the Israel-Hamas conflict? It's a question that invites us to explore the intricate and complex web of interactions, negotiations, and strategies that the United States weaves in this long-standing dispute. This query prompts us to examine the ways in which American policies, aid, and diplomacy affect the balance of power and the prospects for peace in the region. Delving into the intricacies of U.S. involvement will reveal a far-reaching influence that shapes the dynamics of this conflict. To understand the U.S. role, we need to embark on a chronological journey through key events and decisions. Our journey begins in the late 1960s when the U.S. started to provide significant military support to Israel. This support has grown over the years, enhancing Israel's capabilities to deal with security threats, including those posed by Hamas. The U.S. has at times supplied Israel with cutting-edge military technology, thus playing a crucial role in shaping the military dynamics of the Israel-Hamas conflict. Moving on to the 70s and 80s, we see the U.S. engaging in diplomatic mediation between Israel and the Palestinians. The U.S. facilitated the Camp David Accords in 1978, and later the Oslo Accords in the 1990s. These agreements marked significant steps towards peace, but didn't result in a lasting resolution. Despite these challenges, the U.S. continues its efforts to mediate between the parties. As we approach the turn of the century, U.S. involvement began to have broader implications for the stability of the Middle East. The U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003, for instance, altered regional alliances and geopolitical dynamics, indirectly affecting the Israel-Hamas conflict. In the early 2000s, the U.S. also ramped up its humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian territories. This aid, separate from direct support to the government or military, aimed to address the needs of the civilian population affected by the conflict. However, this assistance has often been a contentious issue, with critics arguing that it doesn't adequately address the root causes of the conflict. The influence of domestic political considerations on U.S. policies towards the Israel-Hamas conflict has also evolved over time. Different administrations, Congress, and public opinion have shaped U.S. engagement in the conflict. The shift from a more balanced approach under the Obama administration to a decidedly pro-Israel stance during Trump's presidency, and then a return to diplomatic mediation under Biden, are examples of this. In the global arena, the U.S. stance on the Israel-Hamas conflict has considerably shaped its relationships with other nations. The U.S. veto of United Nations resolutions critical of Israel, for instance, has at times isolated it from the international community. However, the U.S. maintains that its positions are necessary to protect its ally and uphold its national interests. Moving into the 21st century, the U.S. has collaborated closely with Israel on various security matters. Sharing intelligence, cooperating in counterterrorism efforts, and even joint military exercises have been part of this collaboration. This cooperation has been crucial in addressing threats posed by groups like Hamas. Finally, U.S. involvement in the Israel-Hamas conflict has generated both criticism and support. Critics argue that U.S. policies may contribute to the perpetuation of the conflict, while supporters contend that U.S. engagement is crucial for regional stability and the security of its allies. This debate continues to shape U.S. involvement in the conflict. Each of these key events and decisions has left an indelible imprint on the trajectory of the Israel-Hamas conflict. With this historical journey behind us, let's reflect on the significant impact of U.S. involvement. The United States' influence in the Israel-Hamas conflict is far-reaching, spanning across several arenas, each one critical in its own way. Let's delve deeper into these aspects one by one. First, we have military support. The U.S. has consistently supplied Israel with considerable military aid. This support enhances Israel's ability to respond to security threats, including those posed by Hamas, thereby directly influencing the conflict's military dynamics. Next, the role of diplomatic mediation comes into play. The U.S., time and again, has stepped in as a mediator, attempting to bridge the gap between Israel and the Palestinians. These diplomatic endeavors, while challenging, are key to facilitating peace talks and brokering agreements. Thirdly, the U.S. involvement extends beyond the direct conflict, impacting the broader stability of the Middle East. The U.S.'s relationships with Israel and Palestinian entities, including Hamas, can alter regional alliances and geopolitical dynamics, thus affecting the wider regional stability. The fourth pillar is humanitarian assistance. The U.S. provides substantial aid to the Palestinian territories to address the needs of the civilian population, affected by the conflict. This assistance is separate from direct support to the government or military, emphasizing a commitment to the well-being of the people. Then, we have the domestic political considerations. U.S. policies towards the Israel-Hamas conflict are often influenced by domestic political factors. The stance of different administrations, Congress, and public opinion can sway the U.S.'s approach to the conflict. The sixth facet is global perception. The U.S. stance on the Israel-Hamas conflict doesn't just echo within the region, but reverberates globally. The positions taken by the U.S. government are closely watched and can impact its standing in international forums. Security cooperation also plays a crucial role. The U.S. collaborates with Israel on various security matters, sharing intelligence and cooperating in counterterrorism efforts. This collaboration is pertinent to addressing threats posed by groups like Hamas. Lastly, U.S. involvement generates a mix of criticism and support. Critics argue that certain policies may contribute to the perpetuation of the conflict, while supporters contend that U.S. engagement is crucial for regional stability and the security of its allies. The U.S. role in the Israel-Hamas conflict is complex and influential, shaping the conflict's dynamics and outcomes in profound ways.